The brass star pinned to my uniform is heavy, but it is nothing compared to the weight of the ghosts I carry. At 40 years old, I am Major General Monica Hayes of the United States Army. I am an African American woman who has spent over 2 decades shattering glass ceilings, commanding battalions, and burying my vulnerabilities beneath layers of rigid discipline and unyielding strength. My peers respect my tactical brilliance. My subordinates fear my uncompromising standards. Yet, despite every accolade, every commendation, and every salute rendered in my honor, there is a war I lost 10 years ago. Dear viewers, please let us know where you are watching from and which region or country you are in. Please like this video, watch it until the end, and subscribe to our channel. Your support is very important to us. Thank you so much. I was 6 months pregnant with our son when the call came. The El Paso County Sheriff's Department informed me that my husband, Ethan Walker, had been involved in a catastrophic multi-vehicle collision on Interstate 25, just south of Colorado Springs. The details were a blur of sirens and smoke. A fuel tanker had jackknifed. The resulting explosion had incinerated Ethan's sedan. They told me his body was burned beyond recognition. I buried an empty sealed casket in the frozen Colorado earth, wrapped in a flag he never earned, but that I draped over him out of pure, blinding love. I gave birth to our son, Leo, in a sterile military hospital with only a duty nurse to hold my hand. For 10 years, I remained a widow. I never took off my wedding band, and I never looked at another man. Ethan was my soulmate, my anchor in the chaotic storm of military life, until today. It is an ordinary, sweltering Saturday afternoon in Houston, Texas. The humidity is a thick, suffocating blanket over the city, but inside the Galleria, the air conditioning is crisp and cool. Leo, now a lanky 10-year-old with my dark skin and his father's sharp jawline, is walking beside me. We are navigating the crowded promenade outside the flagship Macy's, surrounded by the echoes of shopping bags and mindless chatter. Mom, can we go to the sports store now? Just a minute, Leo. Let me check the directory. You always say just a minute, and then we end up looking at shoes for an hour. That is a tactical exaggeration, soldier. 5 minutes, I promise. I smiled down at him, reaching out to ruffle his closely cropped hair. As I turn my head back toward the directory, my breath suddenly catches in my throat. My lungs seize. The ambient noise of the sprawling Texas mall turns into a high-pitched ringing in my ears. Standing 30 feet away, outside a high-end watch boutique, is a man. He is wearing a crisp blue button-down shirt and khaki slacks. His shoulders are broad, his posture relaxed, his dark hair threaded with the exact silver pattern I used to trace with my fingertips. It is Ethan. My mind violently rejects the image. Grief is a cruel architect. It builds phantoms out of shadows and strangers. I squeeze my eyes shut, silently reciting the soldier's creed to ground myself. But when I open them, the phantom has not vanished. The man shifts his weight, turning slightly in profile. My heart slams against my ribs with the force of artillery fire. I know the slope of that nose. I know the way his jaw clenches when he is impatient. But it is the hand that seals my paralysis. As he reaches up to adjust the collar of his shirt, the bright mall lighting catches the jagged crescent-shaped scar on the webbing of his left hand. A scar he got from a broken wine glass on our first anniversary in Georgetown. It is him. He is breathing. He is standing in Houston. And as he turns completely toward the crowd, looking right through me, a chilling realization freezes the blood in my veins. My combat boots are usually planted firmly on the ground, but right now, the polished marble floor of the Galleria feels like it is giving way beneath me. I instinctively grab Leo's shoulder, pulling him slightly behind me. Mom, what is it? Are you okay? I am fine, Leo. Just stay close to me. Do not make a sound. My voice is a low, trembling whisper that betrays my panic. I step behind the thick concrete pillar of a luxury storefront, using the structural cover just as I was trained to do in urban warfare zones. From this vantage point, I can observe him without being seen. Ethan checks his watch. The same impatient flick of the wrist. It is a gesture I have dreamed about for 3,650 nights. I want to run to him. I want to scream his name. I want to collapse into his chest and demand to know how he survived the inferno on I-25. But the instincts that earned me my star take over. Something is wrong. His posture is not that of a man who survived a trauma and lost his memory. He looks wealthy, settled, and completely at ease. A woman approaches him from the direction of the food court. She is beautiful, a petite blonde with a radiant smile, wearing a flowy sundress perfectly suited for the Texas heat. Ethan's face lights up in a way I have not seen since the morning of our wedding. He steps forward, wrapping his arms around her waist, and leans down to kiss her. It is not a friendly peck. It is a deep, familiar, intimate kiss of a couple who share a bed. A wave of nausea washes over me, so violently, I have to press a hand against the cool glass of the storefront to keep from falling. "Mom, you are scaring me. Who are you looking at?" "Nobody, baby. Just a ghost." I cannot tear my eyes away. The woman hands Ethan a shopping bag, laughing at something he says. And then, the final devastating blow lands. Bursting through the crowd, dodging shoppers with reckless energy, come 3 children. 2 boys who look to be around 12 and 14, and a little girl no older than 8. They are laughing, their faces flushed with excitement. "Dad, Dad, we got the pretzels!" The little girl slams into Ethan's legs. He laughs, a rich booming sound that I used to hear in the dark of our bedroom, and scoops her up into his arms, kissing her cheek. The 2 older boys flank the blonde woman, who brushes the hair out of the oldest boy's eyes. They are a family, a perfectly happy, unbroken American family. The math hits my brain with the precision of a sniper's bullet. The oldest boy is at least 14. I was married to Ethan for 4 years before he supposedly died 10 years ago. That means this child existed before I even met him. This woman existed before me. As I watch the man I mourned for a decade carry another woman's daughter through the Houston Mall, the crushing weight of grief is instantly incinerated by a terrifying cold fury. My husband didn't die. He erased me. I do not remember the drive back to our home in West University Place. I operate purely on muscle memory, navigating the sprawling concrete arteries of Highway 59 while keeping my face an unreadable mask for my son. When we walk through the front door of our brick colonial, I immediately send Leo upstairs to play his video games. "Can I have a snack first?" "Take whatever you want from the pantry, Leo. Just close your door, please. Mommy has some urgent work to do." The moment I hear his bedroom door click shut, my professional armor dissolves. I sink onto the hardwood floor of the foyer, pressing my back against the wall, and finally allow myself to shatter. I weep until my throat bleeds, gasping for air in the silent, empty house. Every memory of our life together, our wedding in Annapolis, the way he rubbed my pregnant belly, the devastating flag-draping ceremony at his memorial, is tainted with the venom of his betrayal. But I am Monica Hayes. I do not stay on the floor. I wipe my face, stand up, and walk into my home office. I lock the heavy oak door behind me and power up my secure military laptop. The walls of this room are covered in shadow boxes, medals, and a framed photograph of Ethan in his civilian contractor suit. I take the photograph and lay it face down on the desk. If Ethan Walker staged his death, there has to be a paper trail. You do not just walk away from a fiery wreck on an interstate without leaving breadcrumbs. Using back-channel access I maintain with federal databases, I pull up the archival files from the El Paso County Sheriff's Department and the Colorado State Patrol. I dig into the accident report from 10 years ago. A massive pileup, a burned vehicle registered to Ethan, a body found in the driver's seat. I pull the coroner's report. The identification was made using dental records provided by Ethan's dentist in Denver. I stare at the scanned PDF of the dental charts. My eyes dart between the victim's charting and the official records submitted by the dentist. I am not a medical examiner, but as a commander, I am trained to spot anomalies in logistics and paperwork. I pull up the name of the dentist who submitted the records, Dr. Alan Vance. I run a quick background check on Vance. He lost his medical license 3 years ago for insurance fraud and prescription forgery. My blood runs cold. Ethan bought his way out. He paid a corrupt dentist to submit falsified charts that matched a John Doe from the morgue. Or worse, someone they pulled from the wreckage of that horrifying crash. I keep digging, running facial recognition software using a still frame I secretly captured on my phone at the mall. The algorithm churns through Texas driver's licenses, property records, and social media. 10 minutes later, a hit appears on my screen. The face is Ethan's, slightly older, but identical. The name beneath it is entirely different: William Thomas Sterling. He is listed as a senior vice president of a logistics firm based in downtown Houston. I click on the property records linked to the name. He owns a sprawling $2 million estate in the Woodlands, a wealthy forested suburb just north of Houston. I pull up the marriage certificate attached to his alias. The screen loads, and a sickening dread settles heavily in my stomach as I read the date of his marriage to the blonde woman, whose name is listed as Sarah Sterling. I stare at the digital copy of the marriage certificate from the Harris County Clerk's office. The date reads June 14th, almost 15 years ago. 15 years. He married Sarah 3 years before he even met me at that charity gala in Washington, D.C. He was already a husband. He was already a father. When he stood at the altar and looked into my eyes, vowing to love and protect me, he was committing bigamy. When he kissed me goodnight and boarded flights for his extended consulting trips to the Midwest, he was flying home to his real family in Texas. I was the side piece, the secret life. But why marry me? Why go through the incredible risk of a legal marriage to a high-profile military officer? I pull up Ethan's, no, William's, financial records from the time we were together. It takes me hours of cross-referencing shell companies and bank statements, calling in a quiet favor from a retired intelligence officer I served with in Kandahar. General Hayes, you are asking me to cross some serious lines here. I am aware of the lines, David. I will take full responsibility. Just send me the offshore routing data on William Sterling. You got it, Monica. Give me 10 minutes. When David's encrypted file drops into my inbox, the architecture of the lie becomes horrifyingly clear. During the years Ethan was married to me, he systematically drained my personal savings, funneled military contractor stipends, and took out massive life insurance policies in my name. When he faked his death, the insurance payout was over $2 million. The money vanished into a labyrinth of Cayman Island accounts before reappearing as the seed money for William Sterling's logistics empire in Houston. He didn't just abandon me. He harvested me. He used my rising rank, my spotless security clearance, and my credit to build a fortune for the family he actually loved. And when my pregnancy threatened to complicate his logistics, when the burden of managing 2 lives became too risky, he killed off Ethan Walker in a fiery crash, leaving me to raise a fatherless son. The rage that blooms inside me is no longer hot and chaotic. It is cold, calculated, and absolute. I am a major general. I know how to wage war. And William Sterling has no idea that the widow he left behind is a master of asymmetric warfare. I pack a small tactical go bag. I grab my personal sidearm, locking it safely in the console of my unmarked black SUV. I leave a note for the nanny to watch Leo for the evening. As I pull out of my driveway and merge onto Interstate 45, heading north toward the towering pines of the Woodlands, the sun begins to set, casting long, bleeding shadows across the Texas highway. I am going to see exactly what my stolen money bought him. I exit onto Woodlands Parkway, winding through perfectly manicured subdivisions, golf courses, and gated communities. I navigate to the address listed on the property records. It is a massive, stone-clad mansion sitting at the end of a private cul-de-sac. I park my SUV in the shadows of heavy oak trees down the street and cut the engine. I roll down the window, letting the symphony of crickets and cicadas fill the silent car. Through my military-grade binoculars, I watch the golden glow radiating from the massive windows of his home. Inside, I can see him. He is in a sprawling custom kitchen, pouring a glass of red wine and handing it to Sarah. He pulls her close, kissing her neck. I lower the binoculars, my jaw clenched so tight my teeth ache. I am mapping out his destruction, step by step, when suddenly, the heavy oak front door of the mansion swings open. William steps out onto the expansive, stone-paved driveway. He is holding a sleek silver trash can, hauling it toward the curb. He is wearing expensive leather loafers and casual linen pants, the picture of suburban royalty. I sit perfectly still in the driver's seat of my SUV, shrouded in the darkness beneath the oak canopy. The streetlights here are deliberately sparse to maintain the neighborhood's forested aesthetic. My vehicle is completely blacked out. He has no reason to notice me. But paranoia is the constant companion of a guilty man. As he places the bin on the curb, his head snaps up. He looks down the street, his eyes scanning the shadows. He stops. The casual, relaxed posture of the wealthy executive vanishes in an instant, replaced by the rigid, alert stance of a cornered animal. He stares directly at the outline of my SUV. I do not move. I do not breathe. The tinted glass shields my face, but I can feel his gaze piercing the darkness. He knows this vehicle does not belong to his wealthy neighbors. He takes a slow, hesitant step toward my car. His hand slides into the pocket of his linen pants. "Who is out there?" His voice echoes down the quiet cul-de-sac. It is the same voice that used to whisper in my ear, the same voice that swore to love me until death did us part. It makes my stomach violently turn. I slowly reach down and place my hand over the ignition button, ready to silently roll away. But before I can press it, the front door of the mansion opens again. "Will? Honey, what are you doing? The movie is starting." Sarah is standing in the doorway, silhouetted by the warm light of the foyer. William breaks his stare with my vehicle. He looks back at his wife, his shoulders instantly dropping as he forces a casual smile. "Just a stray dog, Sarah." "I am coming." He casts one last lingering look at my SUV, his brow furrowed in deep suspicion, before turning his back and walking briskly up the driveway. The heavy front door slams shut, and the deadbolt clicks with a loud metallic finality. I press the ignition. The engine purrs to life, and I glide out of the cul-de-sac without turning on my headlights until I am blocks away. The drive back to West University Place is a blur of adrenaline and tactical planning. I have verified the target. I have surveyed the operational environment. I have gathered the intelligence. The emotional shock is fading, replaced entirely by a ruthless determination to dismantle his life brick by brick. When I walk into my house, the silence is deafening. I check on Leo, who is fast asleep in his bed, the soft glow of his nightlight illuminating the framed photo of him and me on his nightstand. There is no father in the picture, only me. I walk down to the kitchen and pour myself a glass of water. My hands are finally steady. I lean against the marble counter, running through the sequence of events I need to orchestrate to seize his assets, inform the FBI of the wire fraud, and completely shatter the illusion he has built for Sarah. Just as I am mentally drafting the dossier I will hand over to the federal prosecutor, the silence of the kitchen is shattered by a harsh, buzzing vibration. My personal cell phone is sitting on the counter. The screen lights up, blindingly bright in the dark room. It is an incoming text message from an unknown number. I pick it up, my thumb hovering over the screen. I tap the notification. There are only 4 words on the screen, but they land with the force of an unpinned grenade. "I know it's you." I stare at the glowing screen of my phone until the backlight times out, plunging the kitchen back into darkness. He knows. He didn't just suspect a strange car on his street. He recognized the military precision of the stakeout, or perhaps the silhouette of the driver. Or maybe his guilt has kept him looking over his shoulder for 10 years, waiting for the ghost of the wife he robbed to finally catch up with him. I tap the screen, bringing the message back up. I do not reply. Silence is a weapon, and I intend to let him bleed on it. 30 seconds later, a second message appears. Please, Monica, do not do anything rash. I can explain everything. Let me see you. Explain everything. The audacity of the request makes me laugh, a dry, humorless sound that scrapes against the walls of my throat. He wants to explain how he faked his death, traumatized a pregnant woman, stole millions in insurance fraud, and lived happily ever after in a mansion an hour away. I type my response with steady, deliberate keystrokes. Memorial Park. The picnic tables near the running trail. Tomorrow at 1300 hours. Come alone, or I send the El Paso County autopsy files to Sarah. The reply is instantaneous. I will be there. I am so sorry, Monica. I turn the phone off and drop it into my pocket. The battlefield is set. The next day, the Houston heat is oppressive, radiating off the asphalt in shimmering waves. I arrive at Memorial Park an hour early. I am dressed in civilian clothes, a sharp tailored black blazer, dark jeans, and aviator sunglasses. I do not need the uniform to command the space. I sweep the area. The running trails are dotted with joggers sweating through the humidity. The picnic tables beneath the massive oak trees offer a clear, unobstructed view of the parking lot. I take a seat at a concrete table, facing the approach, and I wait. At exactly 12:55 p.m., a silver Mercedes sedan pulls into the parking lot. William Sterling steps out. In the harsh daylight, he looks older than he did at the mall. The stress of the last 12 hours has carved deep lines into his face. He is wearing a simple polo shirt and jeans, looking around frantically like a man walking into a minefield. He spots me. Even behind my dark glasses, he knows it is me. He walks across the grass, his pace slow, his hands visibly shaking. When he reaches the picnic table, he stops, leaving the wooden bench opposite me empty. He just stands there staring down at me, his eyes wide with a horrific mix of terror, guilt, and disbelief. Monica. Hearing my name in that voice, the voice that used to whisper to my unborn child, sends a spike of pure agony through my chest, but I do not flinch. I remain seated, perfectly still. Sit down, William. Or is it Ethan today? Please, just let me explain. You have 5 minutes before I end your life the way you ended mine. Sit down. He collapses onto the wooden bench opposite me, burying his face in his hands. I never meant to hurt you. You faked a fiery car crash while I was carrying your child. You let me bury an empty box. You stole $2 million in life insurance and drained my savings to fund your real life. Do not insult my intelligence by telling me you didn't mean to hurt me. It was out of control. I was drowning, Monica. Sarah and we had problems. I met you on a work trip, and you were so strong, so brilliant. I fell in love with you. I really did. But then Sarah got pregnant with our third child, and you were pregnant with Leo. And the lies just became a mountain I couldn't climb. The walls were closing in. I had to choose. So you chose to commit felony fraud and abandon your unborn son. I knew you would survive. You are Monica Hayes. You are a soldier. I knew you would be fine without me. Sarah would have broken. The sheer cowardice of his logic leaves me momentarily breathless. He used my strength as an excuse to victimize me. You are a pathetic, weak man. And your assessment of my strength is entirely accurate, which is why you are going to lose everything. Monica, please, I will pay you back, every cent with interest. I will set up a trust for Leo. Just do not tell Sarah. Do not destroy my family. The kids do not deserve this. I lean forward, taking off my sunglasses, letting him see the absolute icy void in my eyes. Your family was built on the ashes of mine. Before he can beg again, the sound of footsteps crunching on the gravel path behind him interrupts us. William turns his head, his face draining of whatever color was left. Will, what is going on? Sarah Sterling is standing at the edge of the picnic area. She is wearing tennis shoes and a workout tank top, holding a leash attached to a golden retriever. She looks confused, her gaze darting between her trembling husband and the cold, unmoving woman sitting across from him. William leaps to his feet, his hands raised in a desperate, pleading gesture. Sarah, what are you doing here? I told you I had a business lunch. You left your laptop on the kitchen counter? I checked your location on the family app to bring it to you, but you were at the park. Will, who is this? He stammers, his mouth opening and closing like a suffocating fish. He turns to me, his eyes screaming for mercy. I stand up slowly. I smooth the wrinkles from my blazer, maintaining absolute composure. I look directly at the beautiful, innocent blonde woman who has lived the last 10 years in a castle built on my suffering. Hello, Sarah. My name is Major General Monica Hayes. Major General, are you in the military? I am sorry, I do not understand. Will, what is happening? William grabs her arm, trying to pull her away toward the parking lot. Nothing, honey. It is a misunderstanding. We need to leave. Right now. Let go of me, Will. You are hurting my arm. She yanks her arm out of his grasp, stepping backward. She looks at me, her maternal instincts sensing the catastrophic danger radiating from the picnic table. Why is she here, Will? I step out from behind the concrete table. He is not going to tell you, Sarah, because to tell you the truth would require him to be a man, and we have both married a coward. Sarah freezes. The leash drops from her hand. Married? No, 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 Sarah, do not listen to her. She is crazy. She is a crazy woman who is trying to extort me. I reach into the inner pocket of my blazer and pull out a thick manila envelope. I toss it onto the concrete table. It lands with a heavy, definitive thud. Inside that envelope is a marriage certificate from the state of Maryland, dated 4 years after your wedding in Texas. There are birth records for my son Leo. There are falsified dental records, a fraudulent death certificate from El Paso County, Colorado, and financial transfers showing exactly how the $2 million in life insurance from his fake death funded your estate in the Woodlands. Sarah stares at the envelope as if it is a venomous snake. She slowly looks up at William. The betrayal in his eyes is all the confirmation she needs. Will? Tell me she is lying. Tell me right now that she is lying. William drops to his knees on the grass. He begins to openly sob, burying his face in his hands. I am so sorry, Sarah. I am so sorry. Sarah lets out a sound that I will never forget. It is a hollow, guttural gasp, the sound of a woman's entire universe collapsing in a single second. She stumbles backward, pressing her hands over her mouth, tears streaming down her flushed cheeks. I watch the destruction of their marriage with a cold, clinical detachment. I have delivered the airstrike. The target is annihilated. I pick up my sunglasses and slide them back onto my face. I step around the weeping man on the ground and walk past the shattered woman. The FBI will be at your house in the Woodlands by 1700 hours, William. You should probably call a lawyer. I walk back to my SUV, the gravel crunching beneath my boots. The war is won. But as I grab the door handle of my car, my burner phone vibrates in my pocket. I freeze. I pull the phone from my pocket. It is a call from an unknown number. I answer it, keeping my eyes fixed on the distant scene of Sarah screaming at William in the park. General Hayes. The voice is male, deep, and heavily distorted. Who is this? That doesn't matter. What matters is that you just blew open a hornet's nest you do not understand. I understand exactly what I did. I exposed a fraud. If you are William's lawyer, you can speak to the federal prosecutor. I am not a lawyer, General. William Sterling didn't orchestrate that fake death in Colorado by himself. A man with his limited intellect doesn't secure falsified dental records, rig a fuel tanker explosion, and launder $2 million through the Caymans without professional help. A cold spike of adrenaline shoots up my spine. I grip the phone tighter, my tactical training instantly kicking in. I scan the perimeter of the parking lot, looking for surveillance, for a glint of a rifle scope, for anyone sitting in a parked car. Who helped him? People who require William Sterling to remain a wealthy, unquestioned executive in Houston. People who use his logistics firm to move things that do not exist on any official manifest. You just called the FBI on our primary transit hub. I do not care about your illicit operations. My grievance is personal. It ceased being personal the moment you threatened his assets. We cannot have the FBI digging into Sterling Logistics. I opened the door of my SUV, sliding into the driver's seat and locking the doors. You are too late. The authorities have the file. We know. We also know that you have a 10-year-old son named Leo. My heart stops. The world violently tilts on its axis. If you touch him, I will bring the entire weight of the United States military down on your head. We do not want to touch him, General. We just want to ensure your cooperation. We picked him up from his middle school track practice 10 minutes ago. He thinks we are your security detail. I punch the ignition, slamming the SUV into reverse with a squeal of tires. Let him go. We will, once you intercept the FBI, retract your allegations and classify this as a tragic misunderstanding of identity. You have 1 hour to clean up the mess you made, General. If you fail, the next funeral you attend won't be an empty casket. The line goes dead. I drop the phone onto the passenger seat, staring through the windshield as the reality of the situation crashes over me. I spent 10 years mourning a lie, and the moment I tried to burn it down, I set fire to the only thing I have ever truly loved. I grip the steering wheel, my knuckles turning white. I am Major General Monica Hayes. I am not a victim. I am a soldier. And they just declared war on a mother. Thank you for watching. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. We would love to know what you think.